What's going on, guys? My name is John. I'm a DJ and a music producer. I go by the name Junje, and I built this van with my brother. We put a recording studio in there so I could write some music on the road. It's time to give you guys a tour of this thing. Let's see what's up. All right, the first part, the most important part, and the main reason why we built this van, the recording studio. Doesn't look like much right now, but let me tell you, it gets the job done. So we got 24-inch monitor mounted to the wall on an RV swivel stand, so I can move it however I want. Clips in there nice and tight so it's not moving around while I'm driving. PreSonus 3.5-inch speakers. They're small. They sound really good though. It allows me to get a decent sound. Also, I can plug my headphones in, make it sound as good as possible. So as far as the equipment I need to record, all that stuff sets up real nicely here. I have an audio interface that USBs to my laptop that connects to my monitor up here. Allows me to have double monitors, and then I run Logic Pro X. And I mainly focus in future-based style music, electronic music. So anything I want to do, I can really just do right from my laptop. I also have a microphone that I can set right here if I want to do any type of vocal recording or if I want to do any type of soundscape or anything like that. Everything I really need can be contained right here, and I can produce pretty much anywhere on the road. All right, next up is the kitchen portion of the van. We're in a small space, so we had to deal with what we're working with, but it's perfect for what I need. First up is the refrigerator. This is a 120 volt refrigerator, so it does run off of the inverter power, which I'll get to that in a second. The sink area of the van is actually something that we're pretty proud of, my brother and I. Originally, we were just going to do gravity-fed water, so we were going to build some type of box right here on the countertop, and it was going to have just like a water jug in it with a spigot on it, and it was going to sit here and it was going to drain into the sink, which is just a salad bowl. We cut a hole in and put a drain in. We started building the box, and the more we built it, I started feeling like it was going to take up a lot of room because it was going to have to sit pretty high. So I started looking into how difficult or how easy it would be to install an actual faucet, and it turns out it wasn't that hard. So I mentioned it to my brother, and he was more than happy to give it a go. Neither of us really knew what we were doing at all, so him and I kind of both, anytime we wanted to do a certain aspect of the van, we just looked it up, figured it out, and got it done, and luckily everything kind of turned out pretty awesome. With the sink, it was very similar. So we installed everything, and as we were going, we hit a couple little hiccups, but ultimately it started working great. So basically how it is we have a water pump in here with a gray water tank that takes all the water through the drain, and then we have a fresh water tank with just a hose that feeds in from the water to the water pump and then attached to the faucet here. We did install a switch on this side that powers the water pump, so you can leave that on, you can turn it off however you please, but once the 12 volt power is on, that switch works, and we just flick it on. As soon as we flick it on like I just did, we have running water. A little noisy, but it's enough to brush my teeth, wash a few dishes, so it's perfect for what I need. Next up, a very important part of the van as well. A lot of people ask me about this. For some reason, people wanted to know where I'm going to go to the bathroom. That seems to be a very big van life question amongst the community. And my nice little cassette toilet, it stows away under these cabinets here. It is a cassette toilet. A lot of van life people say cassette toilets are terrible. A lot of people say go with a composting toilet. Truth is, in that thing, you can do whatever you want in it, but you have to clean it. So for me, it's only going to be a glorified pee bucket. Everything else, stopping at a gym, coffee shop, gas station, whatever. If I have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night or whatever, it's an easy solution. These cabinets were custom made to fit everything, including the toilet. My brother kind of streamlined this. He really kind of whipped this together and made it perfect. Everything fits in there. We have a nice little shelf in there, basket on top that holds toiletries and any other stuff. So while we're here, we can talk about the bed portion of the van. Bed's very important, obviously. It's pretty simple. It started falling together like most of the other projects in the van. As far as the mattress, it's just a 4-inch foam mattress with a 1-inch pillow topper on it. From wall to wall here, it's exactly or just under 6 foot. I'm 5'8", so I can stretch out no problem. I have a great night's sleep. It's perfect. No complaints, it's just like sleeping in my bed at home. The bulk of the frame is bolted here to the cabinets, and then there is another larger section of the frame that is attached to the floor in the back. Basically what we did is we just reinforced the section that bolts to the cabinets and then reinforced the section that bolts to the floor there, and then we just ran horizontal slats across, and we built a nice little kind of lip for it to sit in, and the mattress just fits in there nice and easy. If I want, I can lift this up, and these 4 slats here we left not screwed in on this side, so I can move them to the side. I can reach down there, I can grab whatever I want, or I can reach in through the front here. It allows me to store stuff in the garage, but you have to make sure that you put the slats back or you're going to fall through like I almost just did. There we go, and now we're back. All right, so this section right here is our control box that kind of runs all the power in the van. So we have our light switch on and off, just simple. We have 8 lights in the ceiling, all connected to the switch. Nothing fancy, they don't dim or anything, they're just on and off. That's all I needed. Have the battery monitor here, so right now it shows us we're at 98%. We do have solar panels on the roof, so that charges the battery pretty constantly. I was running the fan earlier, we got the lights going now. So when the sun's out, that won't really drop below 95, 96, depending on what I'm running here. When the sun goes down, it drops pretty casually, and then when the sun comes back up in the morning, charges back up. 2 plugs, 2 USB. These are not your typical house plugs that you would see that are wired in. They are just extension cords that are flush mount. So flush mount extension cord, the extension cord runs down and it's just 3-prong. It plugs right into the inverter under the bed. I can, with the inverter on, I can just plug whatever I want in there. Computer charger, blender. It's a 2,000 watt inverter, so if I wanted to do like a microwave or an appliance that kind of takes up a little bit more energy, that's no problem. I can plug it in right there. This is just a little travel alarm clock that is velcroed to the panel here. It gives me the time, the temperature, the date, the day of the week. Just wanted a little something just to kind of have that information there, kind of fill up the panel a little bit. So that fit pretty well. And then we have the inverter power switch. So like I said, the inverter is mounted under the bed. And I have 3 of those extension cord plugs all throughout the van, and they're all 3 of them are routed to that inverter. And this is just an on-off. It does have an on-off on the actual inverter itself, but 2,000 watt inverter, just turn it on and off right from this panel right here. For whatever reason, if I don't want the 120 volt power running, I can just cut it off right here. So right here, what we built is a storage solution for when I'm traveling. I don't live in the van, so I don't need a whole lot of storage. So it's just going to be for, you know, a couple day trips here and there, a couple weekend or week-long trips. So this storage is plenty. Usually what I'll do is I'll put like food in this one, I'll put clothes in this one, and then I'll put like electronic stuff like camera batteries, drone batteries, tripods and things like that will go in here. And it usually works out pretty well for me. I also do have some storage under the bed, which van lifers call the garage. That's for stuff that I don't use super often or during the day. Like I said, I can access that either through the bed or through the back doors. Up in the ceiling, a very essential part of van life. Any van lifer will tell you if they've ever lived without a fan, you got to get one. You got to get a fan in here. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking cutting the hole in the ceiling of the van, but ultimately, like most of the other projects in the van, it went really well. We have a fantastic vent fan. It's bottom of the line. It's not anything crazy. It does have reverse on it, so it works as a ceiling fan that blows air in, or it works as a vent fan, takes air out as well. It's connected to the 12 volt power system under the bed. All I got to do is make sure the cover is off. Funny story about this, while we were installing it, we couldn't figure it out, and we're sitting here in the empty van, and all that's in here is a hanging fan. And my brother says, think there's maybe like a cutoff switch that doesn't let the fan operate when the vent is closed. I said, no way, that's stupid. That doesn't even make sense. And sure enough, I read through the manual, and that was the case. He's smarter than I am, so doesn't surprise me. All you got to do is pop that open like that, turn it on, 3 settings, It's kind of noisy, but I love it. When I'm sleeping, I love the noise, so it doesn't bother me at all. It feels really good too, and it's definitely a must-have if you're building a van. As far as the temperature in here, we did put a lot of insulation behind the walls. Doesn't really do much. It gets really hot in here, and I imagine in the winter it's going to get really cold. Maybe it helps a little bit, maybe it doesn't. Watched a lot of videos on it, took a lot of recommendations from other van lifers. Some people say it works. All it is we have the 1-inch foam core, or the foam insulation board, and then we put some silver reflectix on top, and it's designed to kind of bounce the heat or bounce the sun off. I don't really know how it works. Looked like it would help, but like I said, temperature in here gets pretty dodgy sometimes, so work with what we have. We have the fan. In the winter I'm going to get a little heater, so shouldn't be a problem, but it is what it is. All right, so for the garage portion of the van, really just underneath the bed. I got a couple containers here. Got some tools in it, an air pump, first aid kit, another little toolbox here. Got a case of water. I keep my guitar under there. It's kind of just a little cheapy acoustic guitar, so it just sits under there when I'm not using it. That's kind of the storage portion of the garage there. The fact that my bed is not a normal size bothers me so much, because in my house I make my bed every single day, so I try to do that here, but it's so difficult to make the bed and make it look nice because the sheets and the blankets are oversized and they just hang off, and it bothers me to no end, but I deal with it. Sometimes I try to fold them to make them look nice. Sometimes I just fold them and just set them on the bench or on the bed here. In the van life community, everyone is very interested in your electrical system. That's kind of the thing that we had really no clue what we were doing when we built it. So we turned to a lot of videos and a lot of other van lifers to see what they did and see what their solution was. So ultimately, what we decided to do was a 125-hour deep cycle. Just bolted to the floor here with some brackets, and we have some fuses that protect everything. That runs into a circuit box that also runs into our solar charge controller that's mounted to the wall. Wires feed up through the paneling back here up to the roof where our 200-watt solar panels are mounted. As far as the conversion of how many watts of solar you need versus the battery versus your inverter versus all that stuff, I'm still not 100% sure. My brother seemed to think that everything was going to work pretty well. Like I said, he's smarter than me, so he kind of figured it out quicker, and he says we should be good with the appliances that we're running in here and the power and the charging system that we have. So again, nothing fancy, but it's perfect for what we needed. All right, y'all, so that's a wrap on the van tour. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you're interested in keeping up with me and seeing where I go, seeing what I do, listening to the music I produce, make sure you follow me. Junje Official is where you can follow me everywhere. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. That'll allow you to keep up, do videos every week. I'm doing a video series that will document me traveling around, and in each new adventure, each new state, or each new place that I travel, I'm going to be writing a song right here in the van. The first episode is available right now. Make sure you click the link in the description below. Go check that video out. All the music that you're going to hear in any single one of my videos that I post are going to be completely original. So I'm not going to use any third party, no copyright music. So if you like what you hear, make sure you're following me everywhere possible so you can stay up to date on the music that I release and the things that I do. Thanks so much for your support, guys. We'll see you next week.